Hello, everyone, and welcome to Education for All, where, as always, our goal is right there in the name. Today, we're continuing on with our video series that was introduced in the last video. So if you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and check it out and see where we're going moving forward. Today's video is going to be focusing on the understanding of the history of special education, where it came from, and where it has led to. It's always important to understand the past of where things came from to understand the importance and relevance of what they are today. So, with that being said, let's dive straight into it. As always, just a quick discussion about education for all. The goal of education for all is to create a unity or community of individuals within the field of special education, teachers, parents, families, to work together collaboratively to meet the needs of students all throughout the country. So going straight into the foundations of federal special education, we're going to be going into a short history of special education protections and how they were built, and an overview of the IDEA, the Individuals with Disability Education Act, as well as the Section 504 and the ADA. So why history matters? So rights did not always exist for students with special needs. Students were often excluded from education. History clarifies the purpose of why the IDEA was created and how it got to where it is today, and also helps family and educators to understand that why. So before the laws that were put in place, so pre the 1970s, students often were denied enrollment. No standardized services were offered. Parents had no legal protections for their students. And this led to national advocacy movements that led into court cases and proceedings that got us to where we are today. First one that was a large part of this was the PARC versus Pennsylvania in 1972. Children with intellectual disabilities cannot be excluded. All children are entitled to an education. So this opened the door to making sure that these students were not excluded from education, but still did not provide them with the opportunities they needed to access the education. Then going into Mills versus the Board of Education in 1972, this expanded the rights of all disabilities. Schools cannot refuse services due to cost and require due process protections. These, once again, was another step in the right direction, but did not require the implementation of evaluations, services, determinations of specialized services, and supports that the students would need. So then moving right along, we had the Education for All Handicapped Children Act, the EHA in 1975. So this was the first federal guarantee of public education. So this was kind of the precursor to the current day IDEA, and it required IEP and safeguards to be implemented. So it was then renamed to the IDEA in 1990, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, and added autism and TBI categories and required transition services that were implemented in as well. So, what does the IDEA do today? It guarantees free and appropriate public education, FAPE, which will actually be discussed in the next video for a breakdown of FAPE and why that is so important. It creates the IEP process, it implements the evaluation requirements, it ensures the least restrictive environment or LRE, and it provides parent safeguards. Um, in addition to IEPs, there's also students that fall under the categorization of 504s. The Section 504 Act occurred in 1973. It was a civil rights law. It prevents disability discrimination, supports students needing accommodations, and creates 504 plans that still exist today. The ADA in 1990 was a broad civil rights protections movement, accessibility requirements, and protected students, parents, and educators. So, how these laws all work together. So, the IDEA is an individualized program. 504 creates equal access for students that might just need additional accommodations, and the ADA creates accessibility and rights. Together, they ensure equity and inclusion for all of our students when they are correctly implemented to the legal standards that the federal government has in place. So, why parents and educators should know this. Understanding their rights and responsibilities is very important for making sure that students are getting their needs. Having support and collaboration with your students, with your school, is always an important thing for ensuring they're achieving their highest level of academic performance. It then reduces conflict that might occur from not knowing and then having to deal with a lot of additional requirements and regulations later on down the road. And it strengthens IEP teams as a whole for all team members to have an understanding of what the requirements are from each person involved and the school as a whole. So, in summary, special education rights were built through advocacy over the years. Uh, it went from court cases initially to the EHA, which then turned into the IDEA, and it shows that laws work together to protect the students. And as we go further along in our video series, we'll be discussing those different laws put into effect and how they start with the eligibility of a student, works into an IEP, which leads into an offer of FAPE, as we'll be discussing in our next video. So as indicated, the next video will be the introduction of the initial requirements of FAPE, the free and appropriate public education, as provided by the IDEA. So as always, if you're interested in seeing more videos, please like and subscribe. And also, after our current video series, we will be doing additional videos, short videos on frequently asked questions and situations. So feel free to drop any of those thoughts or ideas in the comments. Thank you very much.